Shalom, everyone. This is Shlomo Katz, and you're listening to The Soul of Israel on the Land of Israel Network on thelandofisrael.com. Shalom uvracha, Rabbi Ari Abramowitz, Rabbi Jeremy Gimpel.
Shalom, Rabbis Shlomo.
How are we doing this morning?
So good to be here.
It's cold and wet outside, but it's very warm inside, no?
It's warm inside, and it's also the first time I can remember in my life really that when the rain is falling, it's an automatic happiness. Usually I have to be like, oh, this is good, but it's a little bit of an imposition for me, and there's that little moment of selfishness and self-absorbedness where I'm not enjoying the rain.
Because the land of Israel is receiving water? Is that what it is?
Well, I think
because
it's
our
because
farm,
of the farm
is receiving the water.
Yeah,
it's huge.
It is.
There's actually, we've been davening for
Yes.
rain, and the rain is coming,
So it
and
is.
the trees are happy, and the grass and the wildflowers are going to come out.
Just
It's
the amount of energy
incredible.
we put into to watering everything, and the drip irrigation, and a water thing comes loose, and it's like, oh, that's expensive
Incredible.
water, and now it's like
gift.
liquid blessings coming from the sky.
Baruch Hashem, that's wonderful. I have to come back. I haven't been in a while.
You wouldn't even recognize it.
Right after Chanukah, we're
It
going to be
will
up
blow
again.
your mind
I can't
to see
wait.
as a hit what progress we've made.
Friends, wouldn't it be incredible if we did these sessions broadcasting live once in a while from the farm?
Yes,
It would be.
that would be.
Anyway, note to self. Don't preach the obvious live. Anyway, brothers, I'm telling you, this week we did a class earlier in the week, a Monday night Parsha class, which I haven't been able to do in a quite some time because of traveling, but we got back to it this past Monday night, and it got me so excited about basically the last 4 parshas of the book of Bereshit. Which, first of all, I cannot believe that we're even talking in these terms of the last 4 parshas of
flew
Bereshit. Flew by. Craziness. But we learned this week from Rabbis Shlomo in the name of the Ishbitzer that Yaakov Avinu was busy doing something for the last 4 parshas from now. Vayeshev, Miketz, Vayigash, and Vayichi. He's busy trying to determine something. He's busy determining through whom Mashiach will come through. That's what he's doing for 4 parshas. Vayeshev, Miketz, Vayigash, Vayichi, till he makes a decision in Parshat Vayichi. Remember, the battle is between really 2 brothers. It's not a battle between them. They're not fighting each other over who's the leader, who's the king, through whose seed will Mashiach come from. It's basically, it's an energetic, it's much bigger than just 2 brothers going at it with each other. It's about Yaakov Avinu trying to determine, okay, we built the house, but now we have to set up enough light for, until Mashiach comes, and who will be the one to come and let Am Yisrael know, okay, you've been redeemed. So it would seem to you that you would choose the guy that never did anything wrong. And that is resembled by Yosef. But really, it ends up being through the tribe of Yehuda, of Judah, who is the ultimate Baal Tshuva. And in recent years, we spent a lot of time trying to understand the difference, the tension between the tzaddik and the Baal Tshuva, Yosef versus Yehuda. But when we sat down this week and learned the parsha from a different lens, different angle, it brought home a lot of very emotional and sensitive points in people. I only know this because when people get sensitive during a shir, they look like they want to slap me. It's always like this. When I could see, like, if I'm touching a nerve, it's almost like everyone's saying under their breath, how dare you reveal all my dirty baggage in front of everyone, when really I didn't say anything.
Right.
I didn't say anything personal. It's just that they themselves felt that you've uncovered.
During the trip in Uman, I've never felt so much like that from you. I felt like there were times that you spoke that you literally could not have been speaking more directly to me as opposed to the exclusion of everyone else there.
Well, in that case, it was. No. Yeah, there's an Indian like this. Look, when the Torah is a Torah's Chaim, the Torah keeps on talking to each individual. And when the Torah is being learned and shared in an atmosphere of authenticity and mamish being genuine, Be'ezrat Hashem, it will go to those areas. So one of the things that came up in this shir, in this parsha, is when you see that your parent still has something to give to the world, but they feel like it's time for retiring and they want to relax, what's real kibud orim? How do you really honor your parents? If you still believe that they have something to give to the world, but they themselves feel, look, I've been through enough, What's the proper way of honoring your parents in that situation? Welcome to the beginning of our parsha. Vayeshev Yaakov be'eretz megurei aviv be'eretz Canaan. Jacob dwells in the land of where his father lived, in the land of Canaan. And Rashi brings the midrash there saying, Bikesh Yaakov leishev b'shalva. Basically, Jacob had been through the ringer a few times. And the Ishbitzer explains, the great Hasidic master of Ishbitz, the Mea Shiloach, explains that Jacob thought that after fighting off the energy, the dark energies of the world that were manifested through Esav and Lavan, maybe I could call it quits. Not in a bad way, just in a peaceful way.
Just a sabbatical, at least.
Or even a sabbatical. Very good.
A vacation.
Kafatz alav rogzo shel Yosef, the Rashi says, which means Yosef's aggravation jumped onto Yaakov. And everyone understands that to mean that, oh, Yaakov, you thought it's time to rest? Just wait. Look what happens now. And the truth is, we know. He goes through a crazy ordeal now with his own sons. Before it was through his father-in-law and his brother. Now it's his offspring that are presenting before him that which he could have never imagined.
And it seems that would even be a harder test. You're fighting for yourself. You're fighting as your children are now at stake. That's the test has only begun. Now it gets
absolutely when it's your own kindle. Shelo neda. We should know of such things. But when you see your own children not getting along with each other, then also you naturally get dragged into it. And mind you, this is also when two of the kids don't have their mother, Rachel, who died last week. So it gets very complicated. It gets very complicated over here. So everyone thinks that kafatz alav rogzo shel Yosef means that Yosef's basically coming and saying to Yaakov Avinu, you don't even know what's about to hit you. But really is that Yosef said, Abba, I'm not going to let you rest. You didn't tell us exactly how Mashiach's going to come. You didn't determine who's going to be the leader yet. That's what you still need to do. It's not enough that you did amazing things and were able to fight off certain evil energies in the world. Building the home means you also give us enough light and a torch to carry with us until the redemption comes. And Yaakov Avinu hears that and says,
this was a conscious assertion from Yosef? Is that
according
the idea?
to the Mea Shiloach, yeah. According to the Ishbitzer, the tzaddik, Yosef is saying, Abba, you're not done. We believe in you enough that you have a bigger mission than just getting through the trials and tribulations you've been through until now. And for the next 4 parshiot, Yaakov Avinu is responding to the roges of Yosef, to the aggravation of Yosef, saying, Abba, you could still do it. You could still do it. Don't rest now. There's still more for you to do. But we were discussing that whole energy of that whole question of when you see that your parents still has more in them, but they feel tired. What's the proper way of honoring them? How do you deal with that one? It was a fascinating insight that we had because each person felt differently.
Yeah, just in my family, there's not going to be rest. Tehila's grandmother is scratching 90. She gets up every morning and goes to the yeshiva that she's been working in her whole life. And she's just going to work because this is the world of work. That's just what she does. My dad, he's never going to stop working. He's just going to work until he works. And so I don't even know how to relate to that question. Ari?
For me, what I've personally done, because I faced something similar to that, is I've tried to think of, my parents recently made Aliyah from Houston. So they're in Israel and it's all these new things. And I see my father doesn't exactly know where to harness his creative energies. And he has tremendous skills and ability to teach. So I've been trying to see different ways, give him different ideas, just see what he latches onto.
Interesting. It's a tremendous privilege to help navigate your parents at a certain age in life.
It's a paradigm shift.
Absolutely.
Really, yeah.
Because that's all they were busy doing for us all those years was the opposite. There's a fascinating halacha that's it's brought down. I don't know if it's halacha or it's a minhag, but it's something that's really, I see certain homes that are very makpid. How do you say makpid? Stringent on the following. You never wake up your parent, whether from a nap or from sleep. Did you ever see this before?
Sure.
Yeah, the story about the boy that brought the cup of water to his father. He was sleeping and he stood there for like 4 hours until his father awoke.
Right.
That's like a private joke in my home.
Why?
Just that my father always requests that, so give me a cup of
Just
water.
to
He acts
stand
like
there.
he's asleep when we come back.
Just to see how much you're really
Yeah.
dedicated.
Throw it on his face.
Anyway, you know what? When Mashiach comes, it says, "V'heshiv lev avot al banim v'lev banim al avotam." That Mashiach will restore the hearts of fathers unto their sons, unto their children, and children unto their fathers. And that prophecy, like when you see that starting to take place in the world, that's a simon that really, this is Mashiach times, you know? This is Mamash Mashiach times. And everything we see from there, from the way that things kind of look like they're going crazy, it's all a preparation for Yaakov to decide, Yehuda, ata yoducha achecha. Like he comes to that conclusion in Vayechi. Not just that. He wanted to tell them exactly how everything is going to happen. Right in Vayechi, He'asfu v'agid lachem et asher yikra etchem b'acharei yamim. I want to reveal to you everything you're going to feel, everything you're going to go through, all the signs, all the false messiahs, and also the Messiah itself, and explain to you how it's going to come down. And Rashi says there, up to that point, can't go further. Nistalka mimeno shechina. God's divine presence was removed from him at that point. But why did Yaakov Avinu want to do this? It's all responding to Yosef's request, saying, Abba, you still have more to do in this world. We need you to fulfill your mission. We need you. I know you've been through everything. We know, we've seen you. We've seen what you've been through. We just met your brother last week. Some of the tzaddikim say that it's only because that such hatred could happen between brothers because they saw evil with their own eyes last Shabbos when they passed by Esav. It had such an imprint on them.
Oh, wow.
That it freaked them out so much that something inside started changing. And therefore, in the beginning of this parsha,
They didn't even know it was a possibility for such hatred to exist, and seeing that
never
it
even
did.
saw it. And maybe that's why there was even more of a need saying, oh my God, Abba, we just saw the other side. You can't rest now.
Yeah, that spiritual encounter really had a lot of consequences also with Dinah, right? The fact
Dinah
that Yaakov
hit her.
hid Dinah,
Yeah.
and then she was raped by Chamor.
Nachon. By Shechem?
Wasn't
By
Chamor?
Shechem ben Chamor. Shechem was the son of Chamor, right?
Oh, okay.
Anyway, but it has, you're right, it has a lot of, that meeting had a lot of implications, but the greatest, what we see is that when you come across the other side and you start to see it in yourself, perhaps, you beg God for redemption. You realize how much the world really needs to be redeemed. And you look to those who you believe that could truly reveal the oneness of God in the world. And when you look around and you see it through your father, that's the most beautiful thing in the world. So yeah, Abba, it might be a little bit restless now. And I know you wanted to shluf a little bit, but we're desperate. And I think that we think we're desperate enough as people today, but clearly we're not. Because if we were desperate enough, it would lead us to demand the redemption in a much more concrete, manner, with consistency, with conviction, with clarity, that if you do not send, revealed goodness and clarity to the world, my children will have no way of knowing who you really are, Hashem. And I think that's, I once heard Rabbis Shlomo say that's how a Jew really has to daven for Mashiach. You say, God Almighty, only you know that without Mashiach, my daughter really can't know how good you really are to us. And I want my daughter to know how good you really are to us. So the family dynamics in the last 4 parshas are really going up a notch. But it's all a preparation, like it says in the Midrash, for something much greater. Dafka at a time when it looks like everything's going off. Like the Midrash says, after the brothers sold Yosef, Yosef's busy being sold to the Yishmaelim, to the Midyanim. Reuven's sitting there crying, what did I do? Yaakov's sitting there crying, saying, what happened to my sons? Yehuda goes off, Vayered Yehuda met Echav. He leaves his brothers, he starts his whole mishigas with his daughter-in-law. And the Midrash ends off in saying, Bisman, while each person is their own stuff and their own balaganim and mishigas, says, V'akadosh Baruch Hu Yoshev ve'osek uboreh oro shel Mashiach. So the Midrash says in this parasha. While everyone's doing their own mishigas, Hashem is sitting down, creating the light of Mashiach in the world. So the whole shir we had earlier this week, and what is really coming to life now, is what would you feel like is, how would you sense Or what would you choose to say that right now is Hashem sitting and creating the light of Mashiach? What is the energy of the light of Mashiach today? Now, our viewers, our listeners cannot see your sweatshirt right now, Rabbi Gimpel. I don't know if we want to go there right now, but I think it's kind of obvious that you're looking at world events now and saying, what's the question even?
Yeah, to me, there's like a tinderbox. That's what Ari always says. Like something is going to go. North Korea, Donald Trump, the embassy is moving to Jerusalem. It's just on the edge. How it's going to unfold, what's going to happen. The world is going to go through a transformation very soon.
But it's already happening. There's already a storm, an absolute storm between Syria and ISIS and Iran. You have to be like a brilliant Caroline Glick type mind to even be able to follow everything that's happening in the world. Things are so wild. And I'm just sort of picturing the way you just described the picture of Yehuda and Yosef and Reuven and Yaakov and the whole mix and all of this, like a storm happening, but within sort of in the eye of the storm, Hashem is something beautiful. The light of Mashiach is happening.
Well,
that's what's happening now.
This is a beautiful Torah that Tehillah taught me. So you read these like stories, these epic stories of the Avot, of the patriarchs and matriarchs, and really, what are they doing? They're just raising their kids. And it's like a big challenge. It's a big challenge. Each one of them is fighting with the other, and one needs to get sent away, and Ishmael and Yaakov and Esav and the kids and the brothers and Yosef. And each one of us that are growing up, that are raising our own families, I mean, the challenges that we stand before in this generation with smartphones and the internet, and just it's challenges that no one has ever had to go through ever. And we are now living through the epic challenges that the Avot lived through as well. Meaning in that of raising our children, all the challenges that are there and all the dynamics that need to be brought forth. The light of Mashiach isn't only in the Donald Trump big pictures, but even in each and every one of us raising our children, just like the Avot were raising their children. Right there is the light of Mashiach.
Amen. I think that you're hitting the point. I think that when in your own little home, in your own Dalit Amod, not just the big world, but in your own house, if one of your child believes that their father or mother are destined for greatness, you got it right there. You have that energy right there. Those are the homes we're trying to build. I'll just take a lot of nachas right now. I want to share with you a lot of nachas. My daughters think that I'm holy.
I think they're right.
That's not how I'm saying it. I'm saying, like, my daughters actually really think that I'm like,
a malach.
That I'm not a malach, but that I'm like a rav and a kohen. It's like that's a very big thing by them. Like I'm a priest, but I'm feeding off of their belief in me.
It builds you up.
And I'm thinking like Yaakov Avinu, like Havdil, a million ways. But I'm just saying, just the family dynamic. Can you imagine, based on the way we learned the Ishbitzer, what that brought to the love that must exist at that moment between Yaakov and his son that believed in him, that you still have work to do, not in a bad way, but we're dependent on you because of your Kedusha, because of your holiness, what you could still do in the world. So if you create a home like that, children believing in their parents, that'll take.
What do you think is the reason your daughters believe that? Is it not only the way you behave and carry yourself and the fact the whole community comes to you for guidance, but is it also Bina? Is she...
I think it's a combination. I think it's it must be a combination of everything. But I also want to say that on their own, I'm observing them much more lately. I'm just looking at them like, wow, who are these people? They're their own chidush as well. I don't know what to tell you. It must be a combination of a million things.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I feel like that about my parents too. I feel like I always felt like if everyone would daven with my father one tefillah and hear his voice, how he talks to Hashem and represents the kahal, no one would ever stop davening. They'd want to be part of that tefillah forever. So I just give us all a bracha, as these last 4 parshas are really epic. Each one more and more epic. That we go. Please throw out all your Bible critiques and all those horrible books, biblical criticism. Those stuff is mamish the other side. Analyzing, like, father-son relationship. You think it was just a simple thing, like Yaakov was unaware that he was causing his other sons to be jealous through the Ketonet Pasim. It's so much deeper than that. Learn Remez, learn Drash, learn Sov. Go deeper, go inside the heart of the dynamic. so that Bezrat Hashem, we can continue building worlds, small worlds, homes, where children believe that their parents can bring Mashiach.
Amen.
Please stay in touch with us. Shlomo at the Land of Israel, Ari at the Land of Israel, and Jeremy at landofisrael.com. Have a wonderful, beautiful day.
During the darkest time of the year, we light the Chanukah candles to remember that the truth and values we brought to the world at Mount Sinai will endure forever, and that every person who loves Israel and stands with Israel is a modern-day Maccabee. And just as God performed magnificent miracles before the eyes of the world through the Maccabees in those days, God is performing even greater miracles through the Maccabees at this time. Because here in the land of Israel, we never forget that just one candle can illuminate the entire world.
Happy Chanukah from the Land of Israel Network at thelandofisrael.com.